hired a hitman to another man after hearing his life was in danger. Opening statements began yesterday in the first-degree trial of Lil Boosie, whose real name is Torrance Hatch.
To speak. Lil Boosie, whose real name is Torrance Hatch, is accused of hiring Michael Louding to kill Terry Boyd. Investigators say Louding is tied to 6. Louding will likely testify against Boosie during his trial in April.
Michael Louding says that there are 3 people that went to Terry Boyd's house and did the shooting. In the second tape, he then implicates himself, saying that he, in fact, shot Terry Boyd.
So, you know how people often associate thug life with adults, right? Well, it's crazy how even kids can get caught up in that mess. Take Michael Louding, a.k.a. Marlo Mike, from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. By the time he hit 15, he already had 9 bodies under his belt. And get this, he wasn't just out there doing his thing. He was reportedly working as a hitman for the rapper Lil Boosie, also known as Boosie Badazz. It's like something straight out of a movie, except this is real life, and Marlo Mike is now locked up tight. It's a tragic twist that begs the question, how the heck did a kid end up on such a dark path? Let's unpack that.
Apparently, Mike has a tattoo that says, "Yo, Boosie, who next?"
Yeah.
So, Michael had a tough upbringing in an overcrowded and poor household in a high-crime area. His traumatic experiences, including witnessing AM, had a significant impact on his mental health, coping mechanisms, and academic performance. His actions were horrifying, especially considering his young age, are a testament to the lasting effects of growing up in a violent and dangerous environment. Michael was given the nickname Marlo, after the character Marlon Stanfield from the TV show The Wire, who was known for being violent and avoiding law enforcement. Now, Marlo wasn't exactly acing his classes, but can you blame him? Growing up in that kind of chaos, it's a miracle he even showed up to school. But he actually tried out this military-style program for a bit. Gave him some structure and discipline, but sadly, it didn't stick. Back to regular school he went. And surprise, he got kicked out for bringing a gun on campus. During his upbringing, Mike struggled with managing his anger. Although his family members stated that he was never physically violent towards anybody, things changed as he got older, leading to numerous run-ins with the law and an extensive juvenile record. His mother was concerned about his mental health after he reported hearing voices in his head, but Mike refused to seek help. Now, here's where it gets even crazier. Lil Boosie, the rapper, played a big role in Mike's life. Like, when Mike hit 14, he basically moved in with Boosie. And rumor has it, Mike ended up becoming Boosie's right-hand man, doing some pretty dark stuff for him. They're saying Mike turned into Boosie's own personal hitman while still a teenager. Boosie even considered Marlo Mike his son and served as his legal guardian. Back in 2009, there was this heartbreaking incident in East Baton Rouge. Terry Boyd, just chilling on his couch, got hit by 6 bullets that came flying through his window in the wee hours of October 21st. Witnesses said they saw 2 dudes booking it towards the train tracks after the shots rang out. Now, here's where it gets real heavy. Lil Boosie ended up getting slapped with a first-degree M charge, all because they said he coughed up some cash, $2,800 to be exact, to hire Marlo Mike as a hitman for the job. But hold up, Boosie's lawyer was all like, "No, my client's innocent." Claimed Marlo teamed up with Michael Ghost Judson and Adrian Pittman for the hit. Turns out Ghost had some beef with Terry after allegedly getting robbed by him, while Pittman had his own grudge to settle. But before the whole shooting went down, there was this convo between Terry, Boosie, Pittman, and Ghost. Apparently they were talking about some letter from an Angola inmate named Lee Lucas, saying Terry was talking smack about Boosie. Boosie even offered up 25 grand to squash the beef, but things obviously took a turn for the worse. Pittman ends up driving Marlo and Ghost to Terry's spot, Marlo blasts him through the window, and then they all hightail it back to Boosie's crib, where Marlo gets his payout. So, when the trial rolled around, Pittman spilled the beans, confirming they were all in on the Terry Boyd shooting. The state brought some heavy evidence against Marlo Mike, too, like recordings of his jailhouse confession, phone records, a tattoo that supposedly linked him to the crime, and even lyrics from one of Boosie's songs called 187. Plus, they had a body bag as evidence. But of course, the defense wasn't going down without a fight. They argued there was no letter and that Boosie and Terry were actually cool with each other. Marlo, on the other hand, wasn't holding back. He dropped a bombshell, accusing Boosie of ordering the hit on another rapper named Nussie. According to Marlo, Ghost spilled the beans about Boosie's beef with Nussie, and both he and Ghost took shots at Nussie's place. Boosie allegedly coughed up 15 grand for the job, which Ghost then passed some of the cash to Marlo. But Boosie, he denied everything, claiming he and Boyd were tight. It's like a tangled web of accusations and denials. The prosecutors kept hammering Boosie, saying he paid Marlo to take out Boyd. But Boosie stuck to his story, insisting it was all love between him and Boyd. During the trial proceedings, Marlo Mike contended that his confession had been coerced by law enforcement officials who allegedly threatened him and his family, thus calling into question the validity of his statement. Prosecutors sought to bolster their case by compelling Mike to display his tattoo, bearing the inscription, "Yo Boosie, who's next?" in court. Even enlarged photographs of the tattoo were presented as evidence. However, Police Sergeant Chris Johnson refuted any claims of coercion, maintaining that no threats were made towards Mike. Nevertheless, Mike's confession during a videotaped interrogation suggested that he believed Lil Boosie had ordered a hit on him. In light of the charges against him, including 6 counts of first-degree M, it's worth noting that Mike's age at the time of the alleged crimes renders him ineligible for the death penalty, as he was 16 years old. Yet the debate over his status as a juvenile or an adult under the law became a focal point of legal contention. Mike's defense attorney argued for his client to be treated as a juvenile, citing his age at the time of the offenses. However, prosecutors countered this argument, asserting that Mike should be considered an adult based on legal criteria. In the early hours of January 1, 2010, tragedy struck as Michael Judson, known by the alias Ghost, was fatally shot in Baton Rouge at the age of 22. Eyewitnesses reported hearing gunfire, and upon investigation, police discovered that Judson had sustained multiple gunshot wounds. While authorities speculated that an altercation may have preceded the shooting, no suspects were apprehended in connection with the incident. Subsequently, another grim incident occurred involving Marcus Thomas, also known as Gangsta, who was fatally shot while driving his vehicle in Baton Rouge. The investigation into Thomas's M revealed that multiple firearms had been discharged at his vehicle. Marlo Mike later confessed to being one of the shooters and implicated Ghost and another associate in the crime. According to Mike's confession, Lil Boosie allegedly hired Ghost to carry out the hit on Marcus due to a previous incident where Marcus had allegedly robbed Boosie and snatched his chain while Boosie was in the company of his daughter. Mike, Ghost, and the third associate reportedly approached Marcus's vehicle and opened fire. Although Marcus's companion survived the attack, they chose not to cooperate with law enforcement authorities. On February 22, 2010, a disturbing incident unfolded at the residence of Malika Hulbert, situated in the 5000 block of Tiago Street. Just before midnight, while Hulbert was in her kitchen, gunfire erupted, targeting her. Miraculously, she survived the assault. Notably, her boyfriend, Noki, who was later tragically unalived by Marlo Mike, was present during the shooting. It became evident that the attack was aimed at Noki. Less than 2 weeks later, the same location was marred by yet another shooting incident, once again targeting Noki. This time, Eddie Stewart and Ryan Carroll were also involved. The subsequent M's of Noki and Bleak occurred within a month, prompting law enforcement to connect the shell casings from both shootings. Reginald Youngblood emerged as a prime suspect, believed to have ordered the hit on Nokai. Additionally, there was Kendrick Johnson, who admitted guilt to conspiracy charges related to the first-degree M of Charles Nookie, Matthews, and Darrell Bleak Milton, both victims of fatal shootings in 2010 while seated in a vehicle. Johnson was slated to face trial for first-degree M charges in connection with Nuki and Bleek's deaths. However, the prosecution faced challenges, as only one witness was able to positively identify Johnson's involvement in the crimes. Marlo Mike, along with 4 others, faced indictment for multiple M's. However, he later retracted his initial statement, resulting in the dismissal of charges against the other 3 individuals. In the aftermath of the K-ings, Mike exhibited a surprising display of compassion by offering support to Bleek's sister and attending his funeral. Rumors circulated suggesting that Boosie may have advised Mike to conceal details of the incident to avoid self-implication. Notably, Bleek, a close associate of Boosie's, met his untimely demise while Boosie served a 4-year prison sentence on drug and firearm charges. Tensions between Bleek and Boosie arose following instances of theft from Boosie's residence and Bleek's association with Johnny Red, with whom Boosie had a contentious relationship. Despite alleged threats against Boosie from Johnny Red, Bleek persisted in maintaining ties with him. Eventually, Marlo Mike, reportedly acting independently, ended Bleek's life. While speculation swirled implicating Boosie, concrete evidence to support such claims remained elusive. Marlo Mike also faced indictment for second-degree M in the death of Michael Smith. However, these charges were later dismissed. Mike's collaboration with authorities included an admission to all the K-ings, including Bleek's M. However, his subsequent reversal of testimony during Boosie's trial, absolving Boosie of involvement, ultimately exonerated 2 individuals and facilitated Boosie's acquittal. In a surprising turn, Mike extended apologies to Boosie and provided testimony in his defense. Marlo Mike's conviction on April 26, 2013, marked a significant legal milestone in his case. Originally slated for sentencing on September 12, 2013, the court opted to advance the sentencing date to July 9, 2013. On this day, he received a sentence of life imprisonment without any possibility of probation, parole, or suspension of sentence. This severe penalty stemmed from his involvement in a homicide that occurred when he was just 17 years old. The outcome of Mike's trial underscores the gravity of his actions and the consequences he faced for his role in the tragic events. His sentencing not only serves as a form of justice for the victims and their families, but also highlights the societal need for accountability and deterrence in cases of serious criminal offenses. It is indeed lamentable that someone as young as Marlo Mike found himself entangled in such dire circumstances, ultimately leading to a life behind bars.